After laying out Congress, the Constitution turns to something brand new in 1787, a single executive with real power, the President of the United States. And Article 2, Sections 1 and 2 show exactly how the founders wanted this job to work. Section 1 starts with the basics. The President serves a 4-year term, with a Vice President right beside him. Today that feels normal, but back then it was practically revolutionary. Most nations ran on kings, councils, or chaos. America was trying something completely different. Power from the people, delivered through elections. And those elections, originally handled by electors, not a direct vote. The founders were worried the public might treat the presidency like a popularity contest. Imagine that. So they built in a buffer. Electors would choose calmly, rationally, and ideally without starting fistfights in the street. Section 1 also lays out the qualifications. You've got to be a natural-born citizen, at least 35 years old and a resident for 14 years. In other words, old enough not to be stupid, American enough to care, and lived here long enough to know what you're doing. Then comes the oath, 35 words that lock the president into one job: preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. The founders didn't waste ink. Everything else flows from that promise. Section 2 is where the real muscle shows up. First, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy. Congress declares war, but the president runs it. That separation keeps generals from becoming politicians, and politicians from becoming generals. Next, the president can require written opinions from department heads, the blueprint for the cabinet. It's the founders' way of saying, get advice, don't wing it. He also has the power to grant pardons, except in impeachment cases. It's a tool for mercy, and occasionally controversy. And then the big diplomatic powers. The president can make treaties and appoint ambassadors, judges, and officers, but only with the Senate's approval. No president gets to play emperor. The Senate sits right there like a constitutional chaperone. These first sections build a presidency that's strong enough to lead, but boxed in by checks, balances, and the fear of tyranny. The founders didn't want a king, and they wanted a captain. If you enjoyed this trip down the rabbit hole, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Smart History for Dumb Times.